Hello, my friends. Jacob's here once again. I'm so happy that you all pressed that play button. You saw the video. You probably saw the wackadoo thumbnail and you thought, yeah, we're going to hang with Jacob Israel one more time. We're going to go to the well. We're gonna get something to drink, and then we're going to make sure that we don't waste that water. We take it to the Lord, because I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. The world's gotten so crazy. So you better turn to God. You better not just be coming here for me thinking you're going to get all the answers. You're going to get a lot of weird, spooky stuff. I got so much stuff to share. I can't wait to share it all with all of you. So I hope you're buckled up, because this show's off the charts today, baby. And they wonder why nobody takes me seriously. That's the reason, because I act like a goofball. Well, there are a lot of people acting like goofballs right now. You know who's a real goofy dude? Not goofy, super genius, in charge of everything. He blankets the earth with satellites. That's right, we're talking about Elon Musk, another one of them SpaceX rockets going off. Another launch, another electric car, another tunnel dug. Another robot made, another neural link waiting to go, neural lace waiting to take your brain so you can be have superpowers, and then you can compete with AI because of the Terminator battle that's going to go down very shortly. Everybody's freaking out about AI. Well, Elon, he a while back, he said, "Oh, as a joke, I'm going to buy Twitter," And someone said, you should make the Doge your logo for the Twitter. And he did. He did. He keeps his promises, which you can't really say that about a lot of politicians today. But at least Elon, he put the Doge up, which sent it skyrocketing, skyrocketing like a couple of pennies for a little while. And I gotta tell you, it's pretty interesting. You know what's really interesting to me is that everybody tweets me. They go at Jacob like, "Oh, Doge, do you know it's EGOD?" And I'm going, yeah, I was like the first person to ever come out with that. So don't send me stuff if you're watching the channel and you get something from me. Don't forget about it and come back months and months later and be like, "Oh yeah, but did you know backwards it's EGOD? Yeah, I got this show, I got this show. I've been talking about that for a while." Doge was part of my 2023 prediction show. It's going to be a big deal on Twitter soon. Very excited about that. If you haven't seen that show, that was a good live stream. You should check it out. But yes, before we get into the madness that's going on in Israel, it's Passover right now. This is the big holiday over there. We got Easter coming up. This is a very holy week for everybody, all the world religions. This is a very, very, very spiritual time, and a lot of stuff's going on. Many rockets are blaring into northern Israel from Lebanon. They say that it's Hamas doing this stuff again. Netanyahu's getting together with his special cabinet. They're meeting. So it seems like there's a lot of world stuff going on, right? Like Finland right now. Do you know that they'd like join NATO? This is a big thing. And they're not too happy about it. I gotta tell you, Russia's not too happy about this. I gotta tell you, I should really try to stay on point, because I bounce around a lot. But you know what? If you're here for a while, you know how to work this out. You just watch till the end. It all makes sense. Yeah, Finland joins NATO, and it's doubling its military alliance borders, with Russia. I'm sure Putin's really thrilled about that. They officially became the 31st member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, on Tuesday. You know, the same organization that Trump was like, yeah, you guys are a mess. You guys are a mess. A lot of people agree with Trump. We're going to be talking about Trump in a little while. There's a lot of goofy stuff with him too. But the Nordic nations, they've sealed the deal. This is not the best thing for Russia and the BRICS nations and everything else, as they, are totally trying to demolish the dollar and destroy the United States of America. And one thing that's been destroyed right now is the reputation of Anheuser-Busch. Everybody's talking about that, but I gotta tell you, listen, I think you all should love people, all right? Don't let this algorithm or whatever is going on, something's being force-fed to us. It's trying to get us to hate people, it's trying to divide us, and things are kooky, right? It's a clown show, for sure. everything that's happening. But you can't be deceived. Especially if you're here, you gotta love, because the days that are coming, only the people that are doing the good stuff, only the people that are serving God in a good way and are loving others, and we're going to be the ones that are going to be okay. I'm promising you this. This is a promise that we have. I have it on good authority, like the only authority that matters. That's God. But a lot of people, they were worried. They're like, oh, NATO's crumbling apart. But no. This lady over here, she's like, no, NATO's not crumbling. We're strong. We're stronger than ever before, says Julianne Smith, as she joined Morning Joe. You know, Morning Joe. Mainstream media is a hot mess, and it's boring. I don't even watch it. I think the last time I saw Morning Joe was, I think I was taking a train into the city with the family, and I think it was on TV in a bagel store. That's the last time that I saw that. But listen, Russia's been warning countermeasures. It's like, I'm going to counter these measures. Russia's not happy. Much as like, hey, this is not good. I've warned you 15 times. You'll not listen. And especially with Belarus. What's going on in Belarus? Do you even know where Belarus is on the map? It's right there. I added that in post because I can't tell you at the moment. But that's where it is. That's where Belarus is. And they see that there's like this nuclear upgrade on their planes and their missiles. They're not happy about this. They're not happy about it at all. So it seems like all of this stuff is happening. And you got other people over there in Israel. They're like, hey, we're ready to go with Iran. Let's bring it on. Isn't this fun? Everybody having a good time as the drums of World War Trace comes on the scene. I said trace to try to trick the AI as if that could actually even happen. I'll tell you what could happen, though, is you could have some kind of biblical events happening with the Trump indictment, right? If you haven't seen the last show that I did on this one right here, okay, so what's weird about this as we get into all the Trumpster talk is that I started this video where I talked about WWE and everything else, and I talked about the Beast, right? They got the demon that got the head wound in the Hell in a Cell match, right? Well, followed that up on Monday night. Cody Rhodes, who I said was like the picture of Trump, was the picture of like Christ rising, you know, Christ going against Rome, and he loses against Rome. What's the next thing that happens? Cody Rhodes, he gets beat up by the Beast. The Beast, that's right, this guy. He's a big deal. He's been a big deal for a long time in WWE. It was a merciless attack. He just beat him, and he kept beating him, and it was a terrible thing. And as I'm watching this show, I'm thinking to myself, my goodness gracious, you really need me back as a writer because your show is trash. I mean, it's just, there's no story. It's terrible. I don't know what happened to WWE, but it needs some help. But I will say that a lot of people watch this show still. And to see the Beast just go on this rampage, that's like his thing. You think to yourself, oh, that's probably what's going to happen spiritually and maybe literally into the future. But the comparison of Trump and what he's going through and what he's facing with this indictment and all of that, it seems biblical. So biblical that Benny Johnson, I don't know who he is either, but for whatever reason, Twitter put that out, and I guess he's got like almost 2 million followers. I guess he's somebody important. But Benny Johnson had said, look at this. He said, look, it doesn't seem like God's very happy with the indictment of Trump. Seems like God's very, very upset with all of the lightning that's hitting the actual building where he's being arraigned, and he was all that stuff that went down. Looks like that the night after, this is what happens. What's weird, though, is that in my video, as I was saying earlier, the one that I just did, Trump Mania, what did it start with? It started with a bunch of lightning. It's just strange. You know, it's just strange that I feel the need to share these things, and then all of a sudden, then there they are. It reminds me that in the end days, people are going to fall for all this stuff because there's going to be all these signs. All these signs. Thaddeus on Twitter, he like at Jacob and me in response to my tweet, this tweet over here, he said, look, they can control the lightning. Look at this from Popular Mechanics. And I said, maybe they can. Maybe they did it on purpose. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Maybe God did it because God's in control. Who knows? But it's interesting, isn't it? Tell you what else is interesting is that for whatever reason, there was a video that was going around, okay? It looks like Democrats are switching. They're leaving parties. In North Carolina, a Democrat switches parties. She's like, I can no longer, the Democratic Party, it's just not the party that I remember it to be. I can no longer have a part of this. Listen to this lady.
Modern day Democratic Party has become unrecognizable to me and to so many others throughout this state and this country. The party wants to villainize anyone who has free thought, free judgment, has solutions, who wants to get to work to better our state.
She says that it's become unrecognizable. And I put a tweet out because this is what I did say this was going to happen, right? I said Trump and all this stuff was going to unite everybody. Everybody's going to start to come together. So here we have a state that was supposed to be Democratic. All of a sudden it's now flipped. It's flipped. That's good for the Republicans and the Trump party, which I would say is the MAGA party, which I would remind you means witchcraft in Latin. Queen Esther on Twitter. She's so cool. She put this tweet up right here. Right here, comparing Trump to the Baphomet. And I think it's a little bit much. But I did like the fact that it looked like the flags. They look like wings behind Trump. I think that Esther's, could be onto something there. People, they do these things, whether subconscious or not, to show you something. The American flag, those are the wings that Trump is going to fly on. You watch. People were up in arms, by the way, because in Chicago, and I think it was the Trump Tower, they responded to an incident, SWAT. Like everybody was going crazy because some woman went in there with a rifle or something. But it turns out it was a domestic, dispute. But it had everybody thinking because of all this stuff, right? Everybody's comparing him to Jesus. Gee, everybody's thinking that this is gonna go down, that there's gonna be an attempt on his life. God forbid. God forbid that stuff happens. I don't think he needs it. To be honest, I don't think he needs this. He's gonna win. He's gonna win. This is I think it's already planned. I think it's already planned. You know what else is planned, which is funny because of the show that I just did. That one again. I talk about how they're gonna switch over to central, digital currency. I say that's going to be the thing. Central bank digital currency. Every time I see it, I think of not THC, the CBDs. Every time I see it, I think central bank digital currency. I think it has something to do with cannabinoids. I don't know why. There are a lot of you in the audience that watch me that know what I'm talking about and think that's very funny. That is funny. Supposedly it's very good for you, cannabinoids. I'm a big fan of anything that's going to help you naturally. So, I'm not going to judge you. I may join you. I may. With the way things are going. But I do this whole video where I say that, I tell everybody this is the thing so that they can control it. This is the thing. We knew it was coming. We talked about this on the channel. They want to make sure every single purchase that you have is monitored, and they want to be able to cut you off if you're making too much noise or doing this and doing that. You know what's a problem with this? Kennedy, this guy over here, who I got to tell you something. I like him. He's probably one of the most outspoken people on the subject of the wackadoo and the virus of the crown than anybody that I know. And he just seems like a great guy. And guess what? He's running for president. He's a Democrat, and he's running for president. And I'm not a Democrat. I guess I would be considered a Republican because I guess they have more conservative views. But I think the whole system's a sham. But I got to tell you something, it would be great. I think it's great that he's running. He said about, let me pull this up. He was very concerned because FedNow, that's our country's digital currency. That's going to be the new thing. It's going to launch. It's going to make crypto and stable coins redundant. That's what this article says. It's usually a one-way street, but the finance sector is saying this is the way to go. And now FedNow is going to be launched. It's going live. FedNow, this thing. See that meme? I created that meme because I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be funny because, of course, Doge, EGOD, Sirius, the dog star, probably has nothing to do with anything. That's the stuff that I came up with that I thought was interesting. Doge supposedly started as a joke, but I think there's more to it because it is backwards, this e-god deal. You know, we're gonna be under the thumb of AI one way or another. So, you know, Elon's joke, the old joke of like, we're gonna create general intelligence to find out about God, and then they're like, you have a God now. That's the thing. I'm all for it. I'm all for the story playing out. Let it go the direction it has to go. I know that God's in control, and I know it's going to be fine. I'm going to have faith. I'm going to rest. Be anxious for nothing, the scriptures say. For nothing. Don't worry about nothing. Just do the right thing. As long as you do the right thing, you're going to be okay. But when FedNow goes live, which is in July, there's going to be no turning back. Insiders on the government project, including Dan Baum, the senior vice president and head of FedNow's payment product, says. He told Payments last fall, the platform represents the beginning of a reality of truly modern payments in the United States. Truly, finally, they can control every single penny. It's a dream come true for the people that are greedy and are, you know, doing terrible things with our money. But Robert Kennedy, who's now running for president, he put it best. He said, the Fed just announced it will introduce its FedNow central bank digital currency in July. CBDCs grease the slippery slope, the financial slavery, and political tyranny. While cash transactions are anonymous, a CBDC will allow the government to surveil all private financial affairs. The bank will have the power to enforce dollar limits on our transactions, restricting where you can send money, where you can spend it, and when money can expire. A CBDC, because that's what happens. If it's in your account too long, it expires. Just disappears. Woo, it's no longer yours. Isn't that wild? Isn't it wild the days we're in? This is a very exciting time to be alive, people. Don't get down in the dumps, okay? I know the end of the story, and it's victory. May not look great in the coming days, coming months, up into 2024 for sure, but it's going in the right direction. I have faith. The Fed will initially limit its CBDC to interbank transactions, but we should not be blind to the obvious danger that this is the first step to banning and seizing Bitcoin, as Treasury did not go gold 90 years ago today in 1933. Watch as the governments, which never let a good crisis go to waste, use the virus of the crown and the banking crisis to usher in a new wave of CBDCs as a safe haven for a germ-laden currency that people gotta touch. Oh, he's a cool dude. He's a cool dude. I actually might vote for him. Isn't that nuts? I don't know. I got a good vibe. He appeared on the Joni Show. My old boss, Joni Lamb, who's you know, they suffered such a loss losing Marcus over there. Daystar, my old network. But he showed up on that show. He's been on. I could have been there. I could have written that show. I like people that seem to be standing up for the truth, and I like people who are not afraid to go against the grain. So my meme with FedNow being like, you know, we think it's FedNow, but all of a sudden he rips off the mask and it's Doge. I think that would be great because I got a lot of Doge because I bought Doge years ago when it was like less than a penny or something. I don't know why. I had a vibe Doge was going to be a thing. You know, so I've been holding on to it. We'll see what happens. But yet the dollar bill, everybody's freaking out about the dollar bill. You know what else is really concerning? Because, of course, you know, banks, we could trust them, right? We could trust, like, you know, JP Morgan Chase and all them. We could trust them. We haven't, like, you know, given them tons of money after they did terrible things and gambled our money away and leveraged our money against things that were just because of greed. And then just like, oh, well, you know, you need to bail us out. And we didn't have to bail them out or anything and then suffer. These people. Well, you know, the JP Morgan CEO, the CEO of Chase, you know what he says we should do? He says governments should seize private land for wind and solar farms. How about that? Isn't that great? I bank at Chase. It's like making me rethink the whole thing. I'm just so lazy. I really need to get more involved in like local banking and stuff. But in New York here, it's like few and far between. But yeah, he's the guy. He shared at his annual shareholder meeting. His name's Damone. Permitting reforms are desperately needed to allow investments to be done in any kind of timely way. We may even need to evoke eminent domain. You know, that's governments can do that. They can come in and say, you know what, for the good, we got to buy out your property. You could take this money at this price or else. Or else. And then they put like a wind farm there? And we know that it's not exactly, I don't know. I'm not somebody who knows the environment really well. I don't know all of these things. I'm not a scientist. I don't study weather patterns and everything else. I just look up at the sky and I say, well, you stop putting that crap in my sky. I don't know why it's there, but just stop. Because it was a beautiful day 10 minutes ago and now I got this going on. But the suggestion from a Wall Street CEO prompting urgent action for the governments to just come in and say, we're going to take your house. We're going to take the block. And we're just going to put up a bunch of fans that are going to somehow power everything. You know, not to mention you need the wind, right? You need the wind. I don't know. These organizations, these banking groups, they really are a little spooky too. They put out all these memos and all this news. Blackstone, right, limits investor redemption because a lot of people are trying to get their money out. So they limited, you know, they in March, they fulfilled all of their withdrawal requests of $666 million. Yes, that's 666. That's in the news. It's in the Wolf of Twatter sent that to me. 666. Just bizarre to me. So bizarre that's my family. You know, the Dan wants us to get like tickets because we're a basketball fan. We love basketball. Ethan's just a huge basketball fanatic. And we want to go see a professional game. We've never done that as a family, so we're thinking of getting like Knicks tickets. And I'm going to New York City. People are getting murdered there, left, right, and sideways. I don't want to go to New York City. Didn't you listen to what Marjorie Taylor Greene just said about that city, about how smelly it is and how terrible it is right now? New York City, which I got to tell you, I had a play that I wrote off Broadway down there at the Samuel Beckett Theater years ago. When I was young, I thought I used to go to the matinee shows because I was like, I loved New York City. I thought it was just the coolest thing, and now I'm scared of it. I don't even want to go to New York City. I don't even want to go there anymore. They're so concerned with Trump and all this stuff, and yet people are like, you can't even walk down the street. Well, forget about that. At least it's not as bad as San Francisco. You know, speaking of digital currency and all that, the founder of Cash App, this guy, he was like, for whatever reason, was out walking I don't know if he was just taking a walk in the middle of the night or something. It was like late, but it was like an area supposedly that was pretty well to do, and he was found. Somebody killed him with a knife. Like it just stabbed him to death. Cash App founder. Somebody who's like a big to-do guy. I don't know. This is why I go to bed early. I go to bed. The Dan goes to sleep at like 7 o'clock. She wakes up like 3:30. Goes to the gym at like 5 in the morning. But I guess in San Francisco, you could go to the gym 5 in the morning and end up in some trouble. It's really a shame to see how they're allowing crime and everything else to just get out of control. But do you ever think that maybe there's a reason for it? You ever think that maybe it's to get us so sick of everything so that they can come down and be like, dun, 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 dun. We're going to put like guards everywhere. There's going to be military on every corner and you don't have to worry about that anymore. People are going to be patrolling the streets. That's what's coming, just so you know. That's what's coming. That's why I came up with the shirt buckle up when I first came on the show, because I had that weird dream and I thought that the world was going to be sideways in like 5 years' time, and then here we are. It's more than sideways, but don't worry, because you're God's champion. That's right. If you're doing the right thing, you're God's champion. You're going to be okay. Doesn't matter. Let the world do what the world does. Focus on good things. Don't focus on the negative all the time. I know if you come to the show and you watch the show, you think to yourself, well, Jacob, all you're doing is talking about negative stuff. But this is fun to talk about, because really, we're kind of like, if you see it coming, it doesn't really affect you that much. We're not like those, the scriptures say, who are overtaken by the darkness of night, because we're watchmen. We're watchmen on the wall. We're watching. We see what's happening. And we know that if God is for us, who can be against us? All of these things are working together for our good. This I promise you, because it's written in the Bible. I'm so confident, and I don't have anything set up, but I do like to read the scriptures. I'm so confident that I'm just gonna open up to whatever. All right, I'm not looking, and I'm just gonna point to something, and I'm gonna start reading. This is what the sovereign Lord says. These are the boundaries of the land that you will divide among your 12 tribes of Israel as their inheritance. With 2 portions for Joseph, you are to divide them equally among them, because I swore to you with uplifted hand to give it to your ancestors. This land will become your inheritance. This is to be the boundary of the land. This is in Ezekiel. This is pretty cool. Sounds to me like we got nothing to worry about. If God says we're going to get something, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. So just hang in there, people. I love each and every one of you. Please do me a favor, will you? Will you check to make sure that you're subscribed? And if you're not, will you subscribe and check the bell for notifications? Will you hit the like for me? I forget to tell people this at the beginning of the show because it really helps. If you hit that like, usually I'm in a live chat. If you come in for the live premieres, I'm like, please hit the like, please hit the like. You got no idea how helpful it is when you hit that like button, because then YouTube will recommend it to more people. When you leave a comment, comments are so important. Tell me what you thought of the show. Tell me how excited you are about the days to come. Tell me if you're nervous, and I'll try to respond. I do. You'll see in the comment section that I do. I come and I check. I love you all so much. It means so much to me that you take the time to do such a thing. It means so much to me that you take the time to support me on Patreon and on PayPal and all the. I don't forget these things. I'm grateful to you, and I thank you. And if you want to get yourself a copy of The Call-In, because I like to end the show always with the trailer for my novel. Because, really, this novel is it's a picture of what faith can do. It went nowhere when this was the first version of it. Look how dark. Look at the difference. Look at the difference, what faith can do. The day that we're in may be spooky, but it's cool. And I'm glad you're all a part of it. So, enjoy the trailer to my novel. Buckle up. Have the best day ever. Have faith, love, forgive. And don't be hating on people because they're different. So pray for them. How about that? Pray for them. I love you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the East to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, It may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling.